what you see around these core areas is that most of the original inhabitants, the Newars of this area, don't live here anymore. It's become all gentrified, and what that means is that all the festivals, all the rituals that used to be celebrated in this area are not done anymore. Most of them have almost been not many people remember that actually these things used to happen here, because it has been discontinued for such a long time. So that's another, I think, a threat to our culture, to the passing on of our culture down to the next generation. So, but yeah, that's not something we can solve. That's a larger, much larger problem related to how you want to portray your city, the image of a city. So maybe as an urban planner, you have something to say on this.
So it's a pressure to me now. I had a different. To your question, like. Why these festivals that we celebrate today, why it is really, let's say, Buddhism, the learnings from Buddhism we follow today or someone else to follow, why so strictness, right? So one thing, growing up here in Kathmandu Valley, it gives a kind of attachment. That's a different thing. Attachment is, that was, because I know this from childhood, so there is some attachment. And growing up, then why, the question why compels you to search for the answers, and then again it will give, if it satisfies your question why, then most people do follow, otherwise they just leave the tradition or something maybe related in today's world, something might not be so much related. But the key essence of why it started, like we talk about Buddhism, then it teaches us about compassion, it teaches us about being in a discipline. So many things, it is just embedded in the culture itself, and through festival, through different, that's like a different milestone for throughout the year. Like you do this today so that a younger child will know about something, like about one particular lesson, and again next year you do the same thing, then it will go inside, deep inside his or her mind. So in that way this tradition has been followed, and if we don't follow, slowly it will be forgotten. Now today we have different form of getting knowledge, but that was one of the the source of knowledge in the past, through festivals, through stories, through traditions, through rituals that everyday parents, grandparents do and pass on to the children. So in my opinion, why we are trying to collect these stories is to find the answers, and so that we can pass on with a proper justification why we do this. And also we don't just say that we have to follow this, like there is so many things that might not be relevant at today's place. Like he said, he had to revolt, why he's not allowed to go there. So there are so many things that is being changed with time, and that is also needed for today's to continue the tradition as well.
So another question was from IS. I think he asked how collecting stories, the past stories will help us to have a better future. Like, was that a question? Yeah. So to answer that, I think we all have read many stories in the textbooks in our school days, and on the bottom there used to be moral, right? So in the exams they used to ask, so what is the moral of this story? So I always used to mug up those morals. Yeah, I used to mug up those morals because the focus was not on the story but on the morals. And I think one of the very famous moral of the story is like what? Slow and steady wins the race, right? That's the moral of the story of the hare and the tortoise, right? So that's the moral of the story. What I'm trying to say is, I think, as we said earlier, first we need to collect the data and then analyze the data, right? So we are collecting the stories and then figure out what is the moral of the story. And there is a saying in our Nepali culture, there is a very interesting quote. It's called "Ago tapnu budako." Sorry, "Ago tapnu mudako, kura sunu budako." It means that you get the very warm heat from the rock, and you get a very interesting lessons to learn from the senior people, and because they are the ones who are the more experienced, right? So all the knowledge that they have, when they give it to us, I think we have to use it to build ourselves, to have to make ourselves a better person, and also to have and to not to repeat those mistakes. I think it's I think everybody says like you have to learn from your mistake, right? But I think in one life, I think you cannot make all those mistakes. So we have to learn from others' mistake. What I would say is like learn from others' mistake and make new mistakes, so that others could learn from your mistake. Right? So that, because one life is not enough to make all those mistakes. So I think these stories also help us to learn from like see what we could learn from mistakes or many other things. And in my high school we used to have this program where we used to go and give a talk, and I remember I gave a talk on the topic of religion. And I did some very basic research on religion, and what I read on the Wikipedia was, I think in the next 100 years or 200 years, all the religion in the world will die out, or it will phase out. But only one religion will be there, and that is Buddhism. Because I think Buddhism is the only religion where Buddha has said, "I'm not God." Right? I think that's the only religion, and I think Buddha, all the teachings of Buddha's, even after 2,500 years, it is still relevant to today's world, and it will still be relevant in the next 100 or 200 years. Is because it teaches us to be compassionate. It teaches us to be. It teaches, I think, us about life, how to lead a very good life, and how to, like serve others, and serve yourself. And so I think, so in the future, I think all these lessons from the past, it will help us, build a better future, and not just for ourselves. I think for all the future generations as well. So I think. We don't have a concrete answer now, but maybe whatever we're doing now, it'll give us a result in the future. And as we say, there's a saying, another saying, it's called in Nepal it's called karma garnu, karmako falko aas nagarnu. It means do your job, don't expect for the result. If you do good, something good will happen to you. Yes. So yeah.
No, that